Aloha and welcome everyone to another episode of Decked Up, a gaming Steam Deck tech, and I guess coming soon, ROG Ally podcast. We're a variety podcast. We talk about gaming and tech. But anyways, I'm your host, Mikhail Casanova. We're here to talk about the poll I put up the other day. I put up a poll asking you guys, would you like me to cover? And about 89 of you guys voted. So here are the topics that I gave, and they were: one, is the ROG Ally a threat to the Steam Deck? Two, why the reviews are so varied? Three, did Asus mislead us with marketing? And four, why it won't sell out. And what's interesting, number one was, is ROG Ally a threat to Steam Deck? I didn't think that would be the one that would like blow up. I didn't think that was going to be the one that was going to be the one you guys were going to go with. I was like, really? That one? I expected you guys to really click on the one like why it won't sell out, because I felt like that was more of a interesting topic overall. But anyways, second to that, we ended up getting Asus mislead us with marketing. And I guess it depends on who you talk to. Because that right there has been varied across the board. If you talk to Steam Deck YouTubers, they probably are going to give you the narrative that we were misled. But anyways, third, we got why the reviews are so varied. There's very little interest in that. So that's like 9% interest, with the misleading one being 22% interest. And then why it won't sell out was at the very least at 6%. And I want to give a special consideration. So Augustine Kushidush, if I said your name incorrectly, please correct me in the comments of either the video or the audio version of the podcast. But Augustine says, thanks for wanting to cover the Ally, Mikhail. But I think the Ally is better than the Steam Deck, hands down. But then again, for only $100 more than the Ally, the AOK Zoe A1 Pro and GPD Win Max 2 with 7840U are a much, much, much better buy in every single way under the sun. From the screen to ports to performance, everything for only $800. That is the starting price of the AOK Zoe A1 Pro and GPD Win Max 2 on Indiegogo now. So, Augustine, thank you again for that amazing comment and for the support you've been giving on the channel. The only issue with that is the fact that it's Indiegogo. Now, this kind of boils back into one of the things I said before, is the one thing that, every time we get devices that come out and people are like, oh, this is a Steam Deck killer, this is a Switch killer, this is that. The one thing is, who's going to support their platform, like hardware, the way that, Valve is doing. Sorry, I had a little bit of a brain fart right there. It's one of them days. I had to get up early today. That's why you see me. I'm drinking, Ghost right now. I got the Sour Patch version. I had to get my little early morning workout in, just because the little one over there, she got up early, like 5 o'clock. Normally she wakes up at 8. And we went to sleep late because it was Mother's Day. So she got up early. It kind of foobarred everybody today. But anyways, so the one thing that sets Valve apart from everybody else, I've said this before, I'll say it again here, is the simple fact that they've got such a flexible warranty plan and flexible servicing. So you can put in your own, SSD. You can put it, change out the fans, change out different things, and they still will support repairing if you run into any type of issues with the Steam Deck. Now, Asus hasn't said anything. Mum's the word, right? So we don't know what they're going to do. And we don't know, anyone who's had dealings with Asus in the past, they don't have the greatest customer service. I can tell you personally, like I've dealt with it. It's not that great. And as far as like changing things out internally, I don't know if that's going to be something that's going to, like, help overall. I know you see my daughter right there. Like, I don't know if that's going to be something that people are going to really be supported with if they change out stuff internally. They haven't said anything. And none of the YouTubers, from what I researched, have really gotten a definitive answer on that haven't. That's the thing. We're kind of in the land right now, the haves and the haves not, because certain people got the ROG Ally, certain YouTubers, particularly gaming YouTubers or Steam Deck YouTubers rather, they have it, but everyone else doesn't have it. So that's kind of an interesting position to be in. Um, and not that there's anything wrong, but y'all got it a month out. And for the most part, it's been kind of glowing reviews, minus a couple that haven't been exactly great. But yeah, we don't know how Asus is going to. And bringing it back to my original point with AOK Zoe and GPD Win, I haven't personally experienced dealing with them firsthand, and their hardware definitely is better, but are they going to support if you do modifications? Because if it's going through Indiegogo versus going through a direct website, or having a service center located near you, that right there already kind of puts in a whole different category. Now, $800 for better hardware, I can't be mad at that. Now, going into the main topic, I know the main topic we're going to be discussing, we're going to talk about a couple other things too, but is ROG Ally a threat to the Steam Deck? No. And that was going to fly back into my other point, the one I actually want to talk about, which is why it won't sell out. Because if I go over to Best Buy right now, I'm pulling up the website here, and first thing it's going to show me is ROG Ally. They're pushing and marketing that hard. But the thing that's interesting about it is, I think it's Linus Tech Tips or something, one of them. We're saying it's going to sell out. The thing is, it hasn't sold out. And look, I was able to pre-order mine yesterday. I had to get funds together because one, it was Mother's Day. So happy belated Mother's Day to all of you mothers out there. And the fathers happen to be mom and dad. Shout out to you because I've been in that position before with my ex-wife. But yeah, it's still available for pre-order. You can still get at least the AMD Ryzen Z1 Extreme processor version. Now there is another variation that's not available yet. And I don't know when they're going to make that available, but it hasn't sold out. And to me, yeah, so the 599 variation with just the AMD Ryzen Z1 processor, not the Extreme, says coming soon. So that one's not available yet. But this one is coming in soon. I'm like, I want to get the second one to get that for Lehua, but I doubt she'll utilize it. Anyways, going back to the point. So it hasn't sold out, and a lot of people are going to be looking at that price. They're looking at the price of the Steam Deck. Steam Deck starts at $399. I've said before, you will not usurp that price. That's like when people try to say Steam Deck's going to kill the Switch. It will not. It is not. Have sales slowed on the Switch? They were prior to Tears of the Kingdom. Tears of the Kingdom picked up sales of the Switch. But you're looking at the typical consumer who wants to either go on a website to their local favorite retailer or go into a brick and mortar store. It's not going to be a threat. They want to have ease of access, and going in a store and being able to buy a device really sets it ahead of everything else that's out there. So when I see that, all right, the price, so we got $599, $699. $599 is not available right now. $699 is. A lot of people may be looking at it who are like the typical average consumer. All right, Steam Deck $399, right? If they're even in that ballpark looking at that. But a lot of them might be like, all right, Switch $350, Switch Lite $200. Looking at, PS5 digital, if you can find it, $399. Physical $499. Xbox Series S $399 or $299, and then Series X $499. So if they're in that realm, and then they're seeing this, and it's like plastered all over Best Buy's website and probably all over the websites that people go to, then they're going to be like, all right, well, you know, should we consider that? But what can it do? Like, it's a Windows laptop. What if I'm not computer or tech savvy? That's already, something against them. Now, the beauty of the Steam Deck is you can literally, it's, while it's not entirely, like on the level of like the Switch interface or anything like that, it is still something that's easily usable. So, the average person, if they got a Steam account, like anything else, get it, put their, sign in with their Steam account, go to their library, download, go to the store. It's a very seamless setup. Whereas ROG Ally, even though it does have a similar interface, is still Windows. And if you got people who aren't really familiar with utilizing Windows, or they're not the most tech savvy, you're already, that's already something that's going to be a knock against it. So ease of use, Steam Deck has it over the ROG Ally, but the performance is better. Now, performance wise, yeah, it's definitely a threat. You're looking at something that's got newer hardware. You're looking at a new device that's going up against a device that's over a year old. So of course, performance is going to be, what is the Steam Deck right now? A year and change, a year and like 3 months old now. And that was originally supposed to come out in the end of 2021. So keep that in mind. The hardware is old. But it still performs well for for just about everything that typical user will be one to use it for. Most majority of the games you can do wine tricks or do protons, and find a way to configure it to get it to work. And same thing with your third party launchers. But you're talking about a device now, the ROG Ally, that allows you to, for all intents and purposes, play everything. And that's kind of the thing, is like, if I go back to the marketing on it, let me go back to the homepage. Their marketing is play all your games with the new ROG Ally gaming handheld. So they're not even marketing this as like, if you go to Best Buy's website, it markets it as a gaming handheld. They're not even saying PC or anything like that. It's just marketed as a device that you're going to want to pick up and use. So that's, they're being very smart about the marketing, and the fact ultimately that you can play everything on it puts it ahead of the Steam Deck in many ways. Now, the other factor of it being available in retail stores at Best Buy is something, but that's something I've actually been wondering about too, because I was thinking, is this actually going to be something you can walk into a Best Buy and carry? Or is this going to be something like they're going to have the $599 one? Because I'm wondering how many units is this actually going to move? Like, I'm sitting down and really thinking about this. I don't know if this is going to move a bunch of units. I think it is brilliant to be in there, but the fact that they don't have a cheaper option, I don't know. That's something I'm like, do I see it overtaking Steam Deck in sales? No, I don't. It could, if it had a lower option. If they made it to where they had an option that was the same price as the base level Steam Deck, and you had another option that was like, say the Z1 and not the Z1 Extreme processor version was available at, 549, or 499, that would be cool. And then if they had the top end one, that even with that being $50 more than the top end Steam Deck, at least you got, comparable options. And I think in that case, if they priced it like that, it would be more of a threat, because people would be looking at Steam Deck and looking at this And while SteamOS is great, hey, I can play everything that I want to. Yeah, so since we're looking at the fact that the price difference, it's not going to outsell the Steam Deck. It's not even going to come within the ballpark of what the Steam Deck has done in my estimation. And looking at we're looking at the price. We're looking at premium. You know, this right here, easy access to get one of these. Just go to Steam and, get it from there. But you're looking at something that's, $5.99, $6.99. You're not gonna have people that are gonna just up and drop the Steam Deck for that. So another way, it is not at all a threat. Um, and then with Windows, as we've seen with so many different reviews, so many different people have had varying experiences, like certain games not launching, running into issues with drivers and such on Windows 11, issues that they weren't running into on SteamOS. That is something I spoke about at length before as one of the things that's going to make the ROG Ally kind of not the big threat that a lot of people have made it out to be. Now, we have all seen these videos, both of two camps, right? Well, you can technically say three. There were very few video reviews of the ROG Ally that were like straight down the middle and didn't really show supreme biases towards the Steam Deck or the ROG Ally. The best review that I've seen personally was from ETA Prime. I'm a big fan of ETA Prime. I love his content. I'd love to have him on the show. But I think he did the best video on it. And I think of all people to get their hands on it, he was great. Now, Nihongo Gamer, I know him personally too, a friend of mine. He also got it. And I thought his video was good, but he's more so, I think it was more of an overview than like a hands-on, in-depth, like this is all the stuff you can do with it. So, and I think for the specific purposes that he's going to be using it, like for fighting games, which is up the alley of what I would be using it for primarily too, is fighting games, especially when you got the 120 hertz, and you don't have to deal with latency input on fighting games because that can be that that can be the thing that can ruin your whole gameplay right there. So that being said, um, those are probably the two best. Everything else I saw had like a bit of a slant towards one or the other. And some people were trying to say we have all seen the clickbait. Oh, this is the Steam Deck killer, da da da. Playing the games of Steam Deck, and I told you guys before the reason people do that is to get you to click on it, because if you have like this non-entertaining, non-eye-catching title, and maybe it can be the best video out there, it doesn't matter if people won't click on it. If you don't have the clickbait, you don't have a certain catchy title, or if you don't have an audience that just rocks with whatever you do, people are not going to click on that video. So when people do that type of clickbait, they kind of have to do it. Like I said, I'm not mad at folks that do it. Bills got to be paid, people got to eat. It is what it is. But all the Steam Deck killer stuff, we all know it's fluff. It's not. They're not. They're in the same category of portable computers, but they're not competing in that same. Like there's certain, like Valve is just not going to be overtaken. It goes back to what I said before, like with the docks. People going with JSOCs because they're the first out the gate, so people put that with the Steam Deck docks, and then you got everyone else is aping off of JSOCs, or they got the same, the folks making the docks and all that. So there we go with that. But no, like it's not. I guess roundabout way of answering the question. No, it's not a threat to the Steam Deck. It's gonna be a nice device to come in. And I'm excited for being able to play Destiny portably and being able to play other games like Call of Duty without having to sideload. And that's one of the other things too that's so interesting is, seeing a lot of the folks that are like anti ROG Ally because they're Steam Deck creators and Steam Deck YouTubers and such like that. It was actually interesting to see that because I'm like, a lot of you already have been side loading Windows on your Steam Deck. So what the hell is the issue here? So I didn't get that either. It's just I see a lot of interesting things. I don't comment on everything I see, but I see a lot of it and I understand the tactics. Now, if you've got a base that's just hardcore radicalized about certain things, and you can just stir them up with whatever you need to mobilize them. It. And I've seen a lot of folks just really feel threatened, and I'm like, why are you threatened by the ROG Ally? It's just another option. Now, I've seen some who have done some videos that are in the tech space that are, not Steam Deck creators, but like YouTubers that have done videos saying that the Steam Deck created this handheld mobile PC gaming market. And I'm like, what are you talking about? Like, whose man's is this? Well, I'm just like, look, let me get your card. Let me get your card. Like, pretend it's Best Buy store credit. Store credit. It's like not a store credit card, but a store credit card. Um, that's their gamer card. Now, if you're out here spreading that kind of misinformation, let me take that card off of you because you don't know what you're talking about. No, the first to market with this, we've had portable PCs for a long time. Portable gaming PCs have been out for over a decade. But the first to want to make this into a commercialized thing, we got to give that up to Razer. They were one of the first ones to want to push this out. And then we already know that before Steam Deck even got announced, Alienware had their own thing that they were working on that silently just went away. And we've got so many other companies are working on stuff like this. Like Acer has something in the works that's going to be competing. All that Valve has done is mainstreamed it. They made it mainstream. And so now this is a market they didn't create, but they fully mainstreamed and cultivated it. So everyone else wants to hop in and participate in it and say, hey, can I get a piece of that prize? And you're going to have a lot of, the ROG Allies is one of many. It's not the most powerful out there, but it's an option, and from what I've seen so far, it just operates a lot better. I'm ready for mine to come in next month. Actually, I think I got to go pick it up at the store because I can't have it shipped to my house for some weird reason. Now, as far as the marketing, because a lot of people feel like there's marketing misleading. And when Asus talked about like the performance jump of it versus like something like the Steam Deck, it's one of those double talk type of situations. It's not fully misleading, but it's not entirely accurate either, if that makes sense. And in this case, it's more of a situation of if you put, the 720p on the ROG Ally, because I don't know if it can go 800p, but 720p, 60 frames versus the 800p, 60 frames on the Steam Deck, then, power management, Steam Deck's going to do better. Very little difference other than, hey, you can push that up to, 120 hertz if you want to. Then you got a different, and then, the Armory Trade if you want to do different profiles and performances and set different things up. Now, when you really look at it from a baseline perspective, the baseline of the ROG Ally is 1080p, 120 frames per second. Now, going from 800p on the Steam Deck to 1080p, that's a jump in graphical fidelity already. It may not be astronomical like going 800p to 4K or 1440p, but 800p to 1080p is substantial. We're at the industry standard. We're not in the sub, Switch is 720p. Most games on it run 540p, 480p, which is mind blowing in 2023. Steam Deck 800p. A lot of games will run at 800 or 720p. and then you can dock it and get the 1080p if you want. But you know, ROG Ally being baseline at 1080p, and then you can go above the threshold of 30 and 60 frames per second. You don't have to be stuck at the golden 40 that a lot of people love with the Steam Deck. So having that, I think, already puts it in a better place than, in saying that, oh, did they mislead us? No, because 1080p 120 still substantially better than 800p at 30 or 60. So they didn't mislead us. They just weren't entirely forthcoming, if that makes any sense. So yeah, did they mislead us? It's double speak, yes and no, or no, kinda ish, I guess you could say. I don't know. But they didn't really mislead us. And then I guess I can talk about like why the reviews are so varied. Um just user experience. You got some folks are like saying it's the greatest thing ever. Some folks are saying it's not that great. They prefer their Steam Deck. It all comes down to personal preference. And my ultimate thought on that is play on what you want. If this is something you prefer to play on, then play on it. If the Steam Deck is what you prefer to play on that. Or if you prefer the Switch, or if you prefer PlayStation 5 or PS4 or Xbox Series X or S, or just a traditional gaming PC or a Mac for gaming. I mean, the few of you who do game on Mac, there's no issue with it. I don't see what the problem is. Play on what you want. You don't have to really be caught up on the whole I like to call it plastic wars, because we're not in console wars anymore. Like, we had console wars in the 80s and 90s. We haven't had a console war really since this. The level of parity we've gotten to the point where like games are where they are now. It's really just what controller do you want to pick up? You want to pick up a Switch controller? You want to pick up a PlayStation controller, Xbox controller? You want to play keyboard and mouse? The level of parity has really just come to where it is now, where it's like, what plastic do you want to pick up? What plastic do you want to turn on? And do you want exclusives? And that's one of the things, like Steam and PC gaming as a whole has games that will never go to console, or they've had the opportunity and have not gone to console, and then vice versa. Nintendo has games that will never go anywhere outside of Nintendo. If it's first party Nintendo, it's not going anywhere. PlayStation, they're trickle feeding things out to PC, but you're not going to play it anywhere outside of PC and on, PlayStation. So it really just comes down to, what is it you want to play? What do you want to play it on? So yeah. Some people just have preferences. They prefer Switch, or they prefer Steam Deck, and they just weren't blown away by it, and that's fine. But other than that, yeah, I think that's really it. I hope I answered enough of the questions from the poll that I put out that you guys have voted on, and if I didn't, you can definitely let me know. What I also want to kind of touch on briefly while I got the time is Tears of the Kingdom. I want to talk about that because I've been playing it. You guys know I put out my review, but I've also been going through it again and just discovering more things and absolutely loving it. And my wife is loving it, my kids loving it, because she gets fascinated every time I play it. And I know people can people can and are emulating it on Steam Deck, and it's running better. People are doing like HD texture packs and all this other stuff. And, it's, I think, even boosting the frame rate to 60 and being able to lock it at 60. So that's cool. Like, I don't even have to do that because I'm playing on a Switch and I'm able to get it at 60, mainly because my TV, the new TV I picked up the other day, upscales anything that goes into it with the smooth motion. So like, it's kind of crazy seeing it play on Switch, and then it do kind of like a faux 60 frames per second, but it's still good enough for me. You know, even though it dips down back to its native resolution, not resolution, frames per second. This is what happens when you're trying to talk and you got a kid show going on and your kid coming up to you. You're like, yeah, I'm kind of all over the place. But yeah, it's just one of those things where, am I gonna emulate it on Steam Deck? No. I'm fine playing on Switch. You know, and I want an excuse to play the Switch. And that's really been the excuse for me to dive back in, just the pure exploration of it. I've really been enjoying Tears of the Kingdom. So whatever you're playing Tears of the Kingdom on, if you're playing it on Steam Deck or you're playing it on Switch, let us know how you're enjoying it. You know, did you check out the review that I did? And other than that, yeah, if you guys are going to pick up the ROG Ally, I got links that you can go ahead and get it from Best Buy. Helps out the channel. Greatly appreciate it. And other than that, yeah, that's this episode. I don't have anything else to say. Really? I don't think. I know. I know. She's like, yeah, it's time for you to wrap it up that. Um I did get a notification about something as far as Steam. Let me see if I can find. I don't think there is anything else. No, that was it. That's all I had. There's a bunch of Steam sales going on right now. And if you're going to pick up anything on Steam, definitely utilize my links, help out the channel, get yourself some games, save on them. It's a win-win. All that being said, I'm Mikhail Casanova signing out. Hopefully y'all enjoyed this episode. If you did, let me know in the comment section down below on the video format and in the YouTube. Yeah, on YouTube and all the other social media platforms that this will be going up on, as well as the other audio podcast platforms. So, all that being said, I'll catch you guys in the next one. Stay safe, be blessed, have aloha, and I'll see y'all in the next one. Peace.